It is my honor and privilege to welcome you all to the inaugural session of the ATAL sponsored Faculty Development Program titled Next Gen Technologies in Action, Generative AI and Quantum Computing, organized by Sadhu Vaswan Institute of Operational Studies Programs, Pune. This activity has thoughtfully been designed to offer a comprehensive understanding of cutting-edge technologies by exploring both the ethical and technical dimensions of generative AI and foundational principles of quantum computing. Let's elevate the spirit of this occasion with the auspicious lighting of the lamp, followed by the recital of Nipati Vandana to invoke the blessings of Sri Vidya.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, it's
Yes,
better.
yes,
It's
yes,
better.
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry for the technical glitch. The FDP has thoughtfully been designed to offer a comprehensive understanding of cutting-edge technologies by exploring both the ethical and practical dimensions of generative AI and the foundational principle of quantum computing. Let's elevate the spirit of this occasion with the auspicious lighting of the lamp, followed by the recital of Ganpati Vandana to invoke the blessings of Sri Vignaharta. I request the technical team to play the Ganpati Vandana. We now seek the blessings of our revered founders and saints Sadhu Vaswani and revered Dada J.P. Vaswani, leading to the virtual inauguration of the FDP. I request technical team to lead to the virtual inauguration of the FDP. Now I invite Dr. Divya, HOD, MBA and IQSC coordinator to take over.
Thank you, Dr. Shweti. Am I audible, participants?
Yes.
Yes.
I warmly welcome all the participants to the AICTE Training and Learning Academy's Faculty Development Program on Next Gen Technologies in Action, Generative AI and Quantum Computing, which begins today and will continue till 20th of September. Over the next 6 days, we are privileged to engage with exceptional lineup of national and international speakers, bringing together both academic and industry expertise. From India, we have eminent leaders and researchers from CDAC, Northern Trust, Aspire Technologies, Symbiosis International University, along with industry innovators from Cognizant. We are equally honored to welcome distinguished global experts from US, Switzerland, and UK, recognized among the world's top scientists and leaders in AI, quantum computing, cybersecurity, and emerging technologies. Their presence truly makes this program a global knowledge sharing platform. This program has been designed to be experiential with case studies and hands-on training to ensure impactful learning. Our speakers, with their immense knowledge and experience, will guide us through cutting-edge developments in the field. We are delighted by the overwhelming response, with 3,395 academicians and industry persons registering for the faculty development program. We have participants from Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, Gujarat, Haryana, Tamil Nadu, and other states who have registered. Normally, for a topic like generative AI, you would expect participants only from the computer management and the engineering field. But we are pleased to inform you that the adoption of next-gen technologies by educationists has made this faculty development program truly interdisciplinary, with participants from diverse domains like agriculture science, banking and finance, big data, business law, economics, statistics, management, amongst others. I am confident that this faculty development program will be of immense benefit to the education community and will inspire new directions in teaching, research, and innovation. We are delighted to have with us Dr. B.S. Nanwani, an academician and leader, founder director of Sadhu Vaswani Institute of Management Studies, accredited by NBA and awarded NAC A grade. I warmly invite our guiding force, our respected director, to enlighten us with her opening remarks for this FDP.
Namaskar and a very good evening to one and all. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Ahuja, Vice Chancellor of JSPMS University, Guests of Honor, Mr. Robin Banerjee, Chairman, Nuclear Research Private Limited, Ms. Lavina Khemchandani, Senior Director, Amazon, New York, faculty members of SVIMS, academicians, industry professionals, and research scholars. As director of Sadhu Vaswani Institute of Management Studies for Girls, I warmly welcome each one of you to this FDP titled Gen Next Technologies, Generative AI, and Quantum Computing. Before I proceed further, would just like to check if AI is playing truant and whether you can hear my voice.
Yeah.
We can hear your voice. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We stand here today at the brink of something extraordinary. AI and quantum computing are recontouring the way we live, the way we work, and the way we think. AI is being employed to bring in innovations, to customize experiences, immersive educational environments, and a lot of other decision-making powers, and so on. Now, this is truly incredible, and it calls for a celebration of the indomitable spirit of human ingenuity. But it is here that we need to pause and proceed with caution. There is a fear, there is a danger that AI may transcend human intelligence and bring in our own extinction. Today, largely, AI is dependent on human brilliance. And it is in this comforting thought that I felt I must share some lighter moments with you and have some feel-good jokes on AI. So here goes. Why did AI go to therapy? And the answer is it was having trouble processing human emotions. So grateful for it not to capture that intelligence, because that is where human beings are required. Another one, why was Chat GPT bad at chess? Simple, because every time it said check, the system thought it was an error. Well, friends, we are riding the AI wave, and it is thus natural that a progressive organization like the AICTE has sponsored this FDP under its ATAL scheme. I gratefully acknowledge their funding and faith in our ability to successfully organize and execute this program. Dear participants, your registration for this program marks your voice and vote in our favor. And we are grateful that you have chosen us to embark on this journey of learning. And now, I would like to spend some time to speak about our institute. Sadhu Vaswani Institute of Management Studies is a proud constituent of what we call as the Mira movement in education. Allow me a few minutes of introduction and indulgence in this concept of Mira movement of education. This, in a way, pays homage to Revered Sadhu Vaswani and Revered Dada J.P. Vaswani, the founders and architects of the Mira movement in education. Sadhu Vaswani was a trailblazer, a visionary, saint, philosopher, poet, mystic, educationist, and a thinker who championed the cause of women's empowerment, spiritual upliftment, and the unity of all religions. He spoke of women being afforded opportunities for growth and development in an era where women upliftment and empowerment were utopian ideas. He anchored the idea of starting educational institutions exclusively for women to help bridge the deep divide between genders. He christened his educational endeavor as the Mira movement in education and started off by founding St. Mira School as early as in 1933. The Mira movement was conceived as a transformative educational approach emphasizing on 5 pillars: quality of education, character building, community service, love for Indian ideals or the Indian culture, and reverence for all life, reverence for humanity. In our educational institutions, thus, brain achievements and technological advancements are encouraged. They are applauded, but we stay focused on education in values of character. Our students are educated to show brilliant results and are equipped simultaneously to meet the challenges of life and living. Friends, Sadhu Vaswani rubbed shoulders with the likes of Guruji, Rabindranath Tagore, and Mahatma Gandhi. And Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the then President of India, had this to say of Sadhu Vaswani's.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. As I said, there seems to be a technical. Thank you, Robin, sir. Thank you. So, as I said, I was narrating to you the beautiful story and the legacy of our revered founder, Sadhu Vaswani. And I don't know where I left the talk and where you couldn't hear. But just to tell you that Sadhu Vaswani, as I said, had rubbed shoulders with the best of people in his times, the likes of Rabindranath Tagore, the likes of Mahatma Gandhi, and the then president Rajendra Prasad had some very beautiful words to say about his life, and I shall repeat them. A saga of unassuming service, spiritual illumination, and a source of inspiration to us all. Sadhu Vaswani then bequeathed his legacy to revered Dada J.P. Vaswani, who is considered as a spiritual scientist of modern India. Revered Dada J.P. Vaswani too amplified women empowerment, and today the MEGA group has grown in strength, and we have 20 educational institutions across different cities of India. And the wonderful spiritual and humanitarian work is now carried out globally through the Sadhu Vaswani mission. Friends, at Sadhu Vaswani Institute of Management Studies, we are very aware and conscious of our great legacy. We are aware that there is underrepresentation of women in positions of power and decision making. This has led to one gender view leadership and is associated with its own problems. At SVIMS, by offering management and tech education through our MBA, MCA, and PhD programs, we are helping to create a gender-just world. We believe that these programs provide women with superior tools to seek economic, social, and psychological empowerment and help them play an effective role in the new unfolding of India's destiny. Established in 2010, we are a young management institute that is NDA accredited and an A grade from NAC. Situated at Koregaon Road, which is in the heart of Pune city, we are blessed with excellent physical and human resources. Almost all our faculty members hold doctoral degrees and carry long years of academic and industry experience. We relentlessly endeavor to enhance our academic and intellectual environment and help our staff upgrade and upskill. Our students show commendable results and are well placed. An education that helps them to up their IQ, EQ, and the spiritual quotient is what helps them to shine in their corporate and personal lives. Well, after this brief note on SVIMS, let me circle back to AI. The term double clicks on global themes of human development, environment protection, economy, human rights, inclusiveness, productivity, efficiency et al. I hope this FDP helps us to learn the use of AI to power our lives and to bring in more ease and equity in society. On that note, once again, I extend a very warm welcome to each of you. And let me thank each of my staff members, especially Dr. Shweti, co-coordinator of this FDP, for her meticulous planning, immense efforts, and unwavering commitment, all of which have come alive in this moment. Thank you very much for joining in.
Yes. Good evening, all the participants, respected resource persons. I, Dr. Ashish R. Jaswal, carrying forward the spirit of excellence and vision that ma'am has highlighted it is my privilege to introduce our chief guest. Some leaders don't just head institutions, they redefine
Dr. Ashish,
education.
Dr.
Yes.
Ashish, yeah, thank you so much. Teachers need no introduction, so thank you so much.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my
Mm,
proud privilege to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Ahuja. And may I request Dr. Ahuja, sir, to please proceed with the inaugural address, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, on behalf of the Sadhu Vaswani Institute of Management Studies, we welcome each one of you for your active participation, your curiosity, and commitment to professional growth. Your enthusiasm in joining in this workshop is a testament to the dedication you bring to role as educators, as professionals. The motivation behind artificial intelligence, as all of us would be knowing, is to create machines or computing systems that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. Human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, natural language processing. The idea behind artificial intelligence is to develop intelligent machines that can automate tasks, reduce human effort, and improve efficiency. Another motivation behind artificial intelligence is to create machines that can learn and adapt to new situations. Today we have ChatGPT, Generative Pre-trained Transformer, GPT. It's an instance of how AI can help bring about transformation. Have you talked to Siri lately? Have you reviewed your investment portfolio report? Connected with a long lost friend on the Facebook? If the answer is yes to any of these questions, then we have interacted with artificial intelligence. It is not a new thing that is enveloping us and growing so rapidly. It existed 75 years ago, but in those days, there were limitations on the availability of data. In those days, in those days, there was limitation on the computing power. And we are so very glad that this workshop addresses the generative AI and the quantum computing together. And when we speak of data, most of us would be knowing that there is an overlap between artificial intelligence and data science. However, the two differ in their goals and approaches. While artificial intelligence is focused on creating intelligent machines that can learn and reason about the world, data science focuses on extracting insights and knowledge from data. Another key difference between AI and data sciences is the type of data that they work with. Artificial intelligence often deals with complex and unstructured data, such as images, video, and text, while data science typically deals with structured data, such as numericals or categorical data in tables or databases. AI is here to stay, and AI is no longer a distant future. It is reshaping all facets of our life, and it includes education. As educators, embracing AI equips us to meet diverse needs of our students and prepare them for a world of possibilities. There is a caution. The caution is, with the power of AI arises the need for ethical considerations. Artificial intelligence is to be used responsibly, safeguarding against antisocial threats. Let us ensure that technology serves to enhance and not replace human connection, as rightly mentioned by Dr. Ms. Bhagwanti Nanwani, the director of the Sadhu Vaswani Institute of Management Study. May the skills and insights which the participants would gain, may these skills and insights inspire you to innovate, to collaborate, and lead integration of AI into the classrooms for those who are teachers. I thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to you all, and we wish you the very best in your continued journey of learning and teaching. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Over to
Doctor?
you, Dr. Ashish. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Dr. Ahuja, working chairperson, Sadhu Vaswani Mission, and VC, GSPM University. Though Dr. Ahuja was unwell, it was his gracious presence that has boosted the FDP as such. I again sincerely thank you, Dr. Ahuja, for making yourself present for the function. Now, we have we have Robin sir also with us. Sir, as Levina ma'am has to leave for some certain assignment, we'll have Levina ma'am interacting first as guest of honor, and then we'll go to Robin sir. Now, with equal excitement, let us turn to another very special part of this evening. It is my distinguished privilege to introduce our guest of honor for the inaugural session of the ATAL Faculty Development Program. We are honored to welcome Lavina Khemchandani, Senior Director of Product Management at Audible Amazon USA. She is a distinguished leader who has substantially revolutionized the method by which millions of users explore and interact with digital content through AI-enabled personalization and discovery system. What distinguishes her is her passion for integrating next generation technologies with human impact, ensuring that innovation remains meaningful and user-centric. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to our guest of honor, Ms. Lavina Khemchandani, as we invite her to deliver the inaugural address. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Is the sound working okay?
Yes. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
It is an honor to be here speaking with you today in this room full of educators and leaders. It is my privilege to be speaking with you about the topic of artificial intelligence. Outside of this room, when people hear that word AI, there is a reaction that I think Dr. Bhaganti hinted at in her words earlier today, a reaction of fear, a reaction of uncertainty, this perception that this is a tidal wave. I think even she used that visual metaphor of a wave that's here to sweep and wipe out things like natural human creativity, natural human intelligence. Even the word artificial intelligence seems to pose it as a sort of contrast, as an adversary to human intelligence, as human versus artificial, human versus machine. So there is that question in the public conversation about this technology of, is it a threat or is it an opportunity? So here in this setting, I think the fact that so many of you are here to learn about the technology and indulge your curiosity and really develop the skill set to work with it in a productive way tells me that you do not see it as a threat, you see it as an opportunity. And I am in that same camp with you. Over at Amazon, we've just completed week 1 of a 2-week Gen AI showcase, in which tens of thousands of employees are being upskilled and trained in internal and external AI tools, being inspired by one another's vibe coding use cases that we've built. And we are just taking the initiative and taking the effort to learn as much as we can and have less uncertainty and less ignorance about what is coming our way. So I think we have this thread in common, both in this room as well as at Audible, at Amazon, of meeting this moment of uncertainty and of change, disruptive change, with not hesitation, but education. But is education enough? And I hesitate to say this in a room full of educators, but I believe it's not. There is more that we need. Education alone is not going to enable us to meet the moment. That brings me to a story of revered Dada J.P. Vaswani. And you may be wondering what a spiritual leader who was born over 100 years ago might have to teach us about something as modern and cutting edge as AI. The answer is quite a lot. In the year 2000, Dadaji was invited to Banaras for the Save the Ganges campaign. Spiritual leaders from around the world were there giving speeches, including the Dalai Lama. But Dada was reluctant to attend this gathering. He doubted whether speeches alone would be enough to bring change. When he reached the podium, he said, "There is no use in my speaking mere words. Rather, my presence here would be more useful if I were to get to work right away." Then he lifted a broom and began sweeping. That is exactly the contrast that we need today. Not simply words, not theoretical education on these concepts and terms around AI, but actual doing, action, initiative, demonstration. AI is not a race, it's a reset. It's a completely new way of working in teamwork and in partnership with the machine. And the skill set that's required for that is not just technical. Simply knowing how to use these tools is not enough. It's a sense of agency. It's a sense of initiative to act, to lead, and to shape outcomes. There's a phrase that comes up very often in practice when you're deploying AI and working with these models, which is human in the loop. What that means is there is a group of editorial vetters or checkers on the system who, as it sounds from the term, the machine is just going to run the show, and these humans in the loop will peek in every now and then and see if the output is still working, if it's still serviceable. But the mindset that we need and that we've learned over at Amazon through this Gen AI showcase is, rather than perceiving it as the human in the loop, we should see ourselves as the human at the helm, We are not passengers on this journey. We are not passively waiting for the tidal wave to sweep over us. We are the conductors. We need to drive the machinery. We need to drive the change so that it is working in our favor. So if we think about the work that we do, it falls into roughly 3 categories. There is hands work. There are the administrative tasks, data processing, data entry, that makes up about 2/3 of our jobs. There is head work. There is the strategy and creativity and thinking that unfortunately only makes up about 5%. And there is heart work, empathy, connection, mentorship. This part of our work is what makes us human. It's what makes us want to come to work every day. And yet so often the other parts of our work, especially that hands work, that manual labor, takes so much out of us that we can only give the little energy that's left, the dregs, to the hard work. So the good news is that is where AI is here to help. It excels at hands work. It struggles with the first mile, the head work, the originality, creativity that is so satisfying to us. And the last mile, the relationship management, which we as humans are uniquely capable of. So as educators and leaders and human beings, those are your zones of irreplaceable value. Let me give you a quick example from my own day-to-day interactions and work with AI. On my product team, we were building a new recommendations engine. The idea was very simple, or so I thought, but the execution was pure chaos. Our engineers had one interpretation of what we were trying to get across. Our data scientists had another, and other product managers who we were working with had a completely different take on what should be done. So there were weeks and weeks of meeting and no clarity was being achieved through these meetings. So I decided to try something different. I drew a hand-drawn sketch on a piece of paper of how I was envisioning the system. This was not a piece of artwork. It was just a messy expression of what was in my head. So I uploaded that sketch into an AI tool with the prompt, roughly, translate this into API requirements for engineering, training data needs for the science team, and success metrics for product and the business, and include effort estimates for each step. The result was what would have been this multi-quarter project that went on for months at a time, accelerated into a 3-week sprint. It was a 75% reduction in effort, giving us more time to launch this one, get it out of the way, come up with more ideas, innovate more, and have more energy left over at the end of the day for the hard work that was needed both at the office to build those relationships within our teams and also at home. Not by cutting corners, but by cutting confusion. That's the kind of agency that's needed. And in your roles as educators, you can model this as well. Find those tasks that are purely hands work. Use AI to analyze student feedback, to scan curriculum trends, to synthesize research. But the real value isn't just in doing these things, but showing your students, showing your teams, showing your colleagues how you experimented. You test and learn in your own work and automate the parts of your job that are monotonous, that are a grind, basically. And you share that, you share those insights back with your teams, with your students, so that they can see that the real challenge is not, should my students use AI? Should my teams use AI? They will, undoubtedly they will. The real challenge is, will they learn that sense of agency, of taking initiative, taking risks, and using it in the right ways? Will they be able to think critically about how to use AI so that they're not working harder, but working smarter? Let the machine do the labor, let humanity lead. So that's my invitation to you. Take this training, take these courses over the next couple of days, and don't just discuss and learn in theory, but choose a task that you want on your plate that you want to experiment with AI on, a real action that you take in your day-to-day or as part of your work. Choose it to work with AI and find a way to speed your processes up, to automate something, to help you with analysis, to help you with your thought process, and demonstrate that to those around you so that they can be encouraged to do the same. Because when everyone has access to the same tools, the differentiator is not the AI itself, but the agency that we take. Just like Dadaji with that broom in Banaras, don't just talk about change, show it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. It is in this spirit that I feel privileged to introduce our second guest of honor, Mr. Robin Banerjee, Chairman of Nuclear Research Private Limited. He's a sought-after speaker, author, reformer. Mr. Banerjee continues to inspire through his insights on strategy, economy, governance, and ethics. With great pride, I invite our guest of honor, Mr. Robin Banerjee, Chairman of Nuclear Research Private Limited, to address the participants and share his invaluable perspectives. Sir, over to you.
Good evening, good afternoon, based on wherever you people are. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk to you today at such a juncture. I'm so happy to understand and know that Sadhu Vaswani Institute of Management is having this fantastic faculty development program on AI. Now, I am, of course, not trained, neither capable of giving you a lecture on AI. I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman who runs businesses, various types of businesses, manufacturing, services, and so on and so forth. How do I see AI? I do understand it's a faculty development program. Great brains are going to come together and discuss and understand this new technology. I have two sentences to say, or two things to state. One, while discussions on AI is always talking about the good things, but AI is also full of risks. Unless we, the humanity, we, the human beings, we, the experts, are aware that AI can also go distinctly wrong. It can give terrible solutions and suggestions. It can actually turn things upside down. We perhaps wouldn't be doing the right thing. So AI is not only having pluses, but it has also minuses. It has huge risks. It has huge gains. But as a businessman, because all of you are going to learn AI over the next few days and try to hopefully work and sell them in the future. As in the business, or for the matter for anything what we do, there's always something called ROI, return on investment. No entrepreneur, no business would ever invest money unless there is an ROI, or return on investment, on AI. Today, the AI companies have market valuations over trillions of dollars, trillions. But today, the time has yet not come to prove AI is good or AI is not so good. They're still saying we are developing AI. Tomorrow, we would come out with wonderful stuffs. But what if it does not come? And what if the investments for getting benefits outstrips the advantages? My dear friends, you people are taking the future in your hands for the humanity. Please remember two things. One, are there risks? And if there are risks, try to mitigate them. And two, return on investment. Whatever investment you guys are going to suggest, kindly try to find out, is there return on investment? Return on investment is nothing else but profit on the numerator and investment as the denominator. With these two words, I wish all of you the very best. I'm extremely happy that Sadhu Vaswani Institute is taking this fantastic step in offering a brilliant program over the next week or so, or I think next 2 weeks, to a large group of experts. Thank you. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to speak to you, and best of luck. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. We come to the closure of the inaugural function of the online FDP. On the behalf of organizers and all the participants of this faculty development program, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Basant Ahuja, guest of honor, Lavina Khemchandani, Senior Director of Product Management of Audible, Amazon USA, and Mr. Robin Banerjee for his enlightening addresses. We are deeply thankful for the time, wisdom, and inspiration all of you have shared us today. With this, I conclude with the inaugural function and we move forward to the first session of the day today. Before I move into, I would like to make few announcements for the participants. Dear participants, as we move ahead with our sessions, I would take a moment to share few important AICTE guidelines that ensure the smooth conduct and academic integrity of this FDP. In terms of attendance, as per AICTE norms, attendance will be mapped through the feedback system during each session. We kindly request your presence across the session with at least 80% participation being the benchmark for successful completion. In terms of assessment, the concluding test would be scheduled on the last day, that is 20th of September 2025 from 6:30 to 7:30. A minimum of 70% is the qualifying criteria, and we are confident that your engagement throughout will make this a meaningful exercise rather than a formality. Apart from that, immediately after the test, participants are invited to log in into their ATAL portals and complete the final feedback process within the same time frame. Once the feedback and test is completed, the AICTE e-certificate will become available for download once the test scores are uploaded by the co-coordinator and the feedback loop is complete. The organizing team will communicate availability of the certificates to you directly on this group. We deeply appreciate your cooperation in aligning with these norms. These steps are not mere formalities, but essential for upholding the standards that make FDP like this truly impactful. Thank you for being partners in this journey of learning and discovery. With this, we move forward to the first session. Esteemed participants, we move towards the first session of today. As we step into a very first session of our ATAL faculty development program, it is my privilege to introduce a speaker whose journey exemplifies innovation, versatility, and thought leadership. Our distinguished speaker for the session is Mr. Shivi Gupta, currently serving as engineering manager at Cognizant. Mr. Gupta is much more than an engineering leader. He is an innovator, researcher, AI expert, writer, speaker, and AI advocate. With over 12 years of diverse experience in the software engineering and emerging technology. What makes Mr. Gupta truly unique is his creative diversity. Beyond being an engineer, he also created chatbot, apps, stories, poems, characters, comic strips, and even stand-up comedy sets, proving that imagination and logic are not opposites, but they are partners in innovation. In today's session, as he takes us into the critical subject of agentic AI, we can look forward not just technical depth, but also thought-provoking insights on the moral responsibilities we must uphold as educators, researchers, and innovators. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm and enthusiastic welcome to our esteemed speaker, Mr. Shivi Gupta. Get ready for an eye-opening journey as he unfolds the world of agentic AI, where cutting innovation meets the vital questions of ethics, responsibility, and human values in generative AI. Sir, the platform is yours to enlighten us with your insights. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you can all hear me and see me as well. Right. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. All right. So we'll just go on to the first slide. I don't want to scare you with, big terms of agentic AI and ethics and moral responsibility and generative AI. We will talk about the evolution. First of all, what exactly and how exactly AI as a wave has come up. What is machine learning? What is data science, right? So if you look at a pattern recognition, like if you look at uh, anything that is recommending you something, like let's take an example for TikTok videos or Instagram reels, the things that you see there are usually, focused on what all your likes are, what is your personality. Like, for example, if I am a huge fan of football, I will see a lot of football related, short reels, short videos. And the more I interact with them, the more content is, recommended for me. So that is the pattern recognition that is being done in the background. And that is how, what we see. So in the backdrop, of course, there are so many processes that are happening. The machine, in the sense a computer, is supposed to understand what exactly the user is interacting with, what kind of content he or she is interacting with, and how we can, keep them engaged. So the point is, of course, as one of our guests said, that we talk about profit and ROI. So the moment we have more and more users for the platform, that is where you can invite more investors and more money will come in. So it is a profitable business for any company or any product. Right. So machine learning again. So when we talk about machines, they only understand assembly language, or what you say, binary language, right? Zeros and ones. But when we type language like English language or Hindi or Marathi or whatever language that we use to talk to an AI, it converts all of it into tokens. Tokens becomes like like a phrase, or to understand the intent behind a context or content. And then it converts that into binary language. Then binary language uses some algorithms, which are machine learning algorithms, to understand what is the pattern, and then it will predict this is the closest to the pattern. To visualize it even more, if you think of, let's say, annual rainfall in Maharashtra, and if you look at the number of months and you plot in a graph, so you will see the data points will be very heavy towards July, August, and September, right? Because that is the major rainfall time. And if you draw a line there, then you can predict the pattern, that how the rainfall goes up and down through the month from January to December. So that is what the machine learning is supposed to do. It's predict the pattern of how much rainfall it will be there. As in, if you want to predict how much rainfall or how much centimeter, millimeter rainfall you're receiving at each and every month, you can follow the line and understand that. So that is what machine learning is. Now, machine learning is a simple concept when you look at only prediction of weather. But when you try to understand and get into complex topics, that is where deep learning comes in, where there are more than one machine or more than one computer is doing or contributing to the learning part. Learning is again understanding a pattern, recognize a pattern, and that is how it will operate, well and efficiently if it understands what exactly the pattern is. Right. Let me share my screen. I think that should be fine, right? I'll just share the PPT. The same thing. I hope you can all see it. Sorry. Yeah. Right. So now we move on to agentic AI, and we talk exactly what is the current trend and where exactly AI is going. When I say machine learning, AI is artificial intelligence, is in again being smart, being predictive, being understanding of what the user is actually looking for. So just like if you have Amazon and you buy some product, similarly you get recommendations saying that usually people buy socks and shoes together, or people usually buy Nike, Adidas, Puma, brands together, or comparable brands. So something like that. That is where it is so smart. The system is so smart that it already predicts or understands what you're exactly looking for. So that is where the term artificial intelligence comes in, because it is not a particular human with a brain who is intelligent enough to understand your needs. As in, when you go to a shop and you buy for a product, and they will tell you that people, who are interested in football would obviously buy stockings and football shoes rather than sneakers or running shoes or fancy socks. So those things who understand you are being artificially intelligent. That's what they talk about. Now, when we go about agentic AI, agents we talk about is when you take one AI model. Now, model again is like a fully functioning one product, which is like, if you can assume that it contains all of the internet. So all of the publicly available data that is already there, and it is like packaged into one model, which is a large language model, because it understands your language and then gives you the answer. So if you take one large language model and you ask it, can you create a website for me, right? So it will give you all inputs and suggestions of how you're supposed to go about it. Even if you are a developer, even if you are not a developer, you will still get instructions like you should hire a developer, you should hire a tester, you should hire a marketing specialist, again, sales executive to understand and to sell your product. So if you think of all these roles as individuals who are working together, if you try to replace that with a machine, and that is what an agent is. So agent would be a subset of a large language model, which is given a specific task and specific set of tools. So when I say tools, again, it depends, like, let's say that if my agent is a code reviewer agent, I am writing some piece of code and I want somebody else, like my senior, to look at my code and give me review points and give me suggestions, what are the best practices and everything. And the tools that I have provided it is, of course, a list of all my work previously and a list of all the source code that the company has created, right? Like, like a huge chunk of data that they have. And also the tools like coding scan agents like Vera Code, there is Sonar Cube. So you would hear these terms in software development life cycles. Those are the tools that this agent can use to give us more specific suggestions and responses. So agent, as in itself, is a person. It's like imitating a person with a specified task, like a job description basically, and tools like what all tools it knows. So if you look at a job description of a software developer, it says that you have to perform these many responsibilities. You should know how to use GitHub or Copilot or Grok or whatever tools or whatever design the company is using, like the tech stack basically. So that is what an agent is. Okay. So I will not be just speaking completely. If you have any questions, you are free to ask me. You can raise your hands and interrupt me and ask me, or you can put all the questions in the chat. I can obviously get to it when we complete the session. Right. So as you can see on the screen, very first slide is about what is agentic AI. So it is giving an autonomy. You are just giving an agent a specific task and also asking it to use these tools and act independently. So if I am creating an agent which is supposed to only review the code, that is its only job. It will not be involved in, giving you information about products or giving you information about who's the current prime minister or what is happening in the real world, what is the stock market price. So that would be a different agent. One agent would be different for a stock market, stock price predictor. So there are a lot of factors comes into play if you're buying a stock of, let's say, a company called Zomato that is in India, a food delivery application. So they have this stock, and you want to predict, like, let's say right now it's 400 rupees, and they wanted to predict how much will it go in the next 6 years or next 5 months or whatever. And you can get those details in, but you can give it the tools for this agent would be all the data from the past about the stock price pattern, as well as demat accounts and where it can do the shopping for you. So those are basically agents, right? And these are examples of generative AI tools. Looks like ChatGPT again is like a complete product, and you can take a subset out of it and define a task to it that becomes an agent. Recommendation agent engine is an agent. Autonomous assistants, as in, like, let's say if you're buying a bus ticket from any website like Redbus or anything, and you have this assistant right there. So you can ask the assistant, like, what is the price and what would be the timings for the bus and everything. So instead of you going through each and every page and scanning through it, you can talk to the agent and make your life easier. You can switch the mic on and you can just have a conversation rather than typing everything in. Visa agent is Visa, the company Visa and MasterCard have also created their agents to help you shop. So it's like basically it will run autonomously. But again, so that is where the big question is, like, if I am giving my money to an agent to shop on its own, it's a dangerous thing, right? You never know what kind of things it will start buying. It will predict my purchase history. It will check my purchase history and predict what all it can buy, right? Now that is where ethics comes into the picture, that whatever we are using the AI for, is it good? In the sense that, if since internet has all the information, you also have dark web and you have malice information, like, if I want to scam somebody into tricking somebody to taking money from them, so I can create like a page which is very close to an India Post website, right? And ask them to, like, give them the details to change their address and everything and take some money to make that process. So they would obviously find it fishy, but since AI is there, it will give you that information. That is where a lot of guardrails are to be in place, so that you do not take information, or the AI is not supposed to give away this malice information, like how to create a bomb or how to scam people or how to create a scam message, how to create like a phishing mail and something like that. So all these things should be restricted by the AI, right? So I would give you some examples of AI tools that you should use starting now. Copilot, Microsoft Copilot is already there for all Windows systems in Edge browsers and Outlook and Teams. And then you have Grok, that is from Elon Musk's company X, formerly Twitter. Then you have Gemini from Google. Then you have ChatGPT 5, and you have DeepSeek from China. You have Mistral from Europe. So these 4 or 5 agents, if you start using them, like AI LLM models, you start using them and see if they are actually following these guardrails or not. That would give you more insight, more clarity on how and which one is the perfect for your use. Like if you want to create like a course for your students or an assignment for your students, you should try different LLMs and see if the information that is giving it is not hallucinated. It has not created the information on its own. It's factually correct. So you have to actually go through all of that process. You will have to go through the correct information and find the correct information. So basically, because of AI, the search or the quest for truth has become even more difficult, because instead of going on to Google and searching for a particular thing, we just ask on the search engine and it will give us a summary and we believe it, rather than just thinking about or trying to find out what exactly the source of that information is. But there are other systems which will give you the source or the links as well to you, so that you can also go around and verify that information. Right. And major problem with these AIs again are, like, it can also amplify the biases. So, for example, if you ask any AI LLM model to create a personality or a persona of a nurse, 90% of them will obviously assume that the nurse is a woman. So if you ask it and then you tell it that, this is unfair, why are you, like, being gender biased? So it will tell you that, okay, my data itself has been biased. That is why I'm being biased. So you can improve the LLM as well as and when you talk to it. So as a human being, as being the human in the loop, your responsibility is to make sure that whatever AI LLM you use should be ethically correct. Right. Okay. The next is understanding AI ethics. Again, the principles of what exactly is fair, what is transparent, what is good, what is not, like, acceptable. Like, if an AI is hallucinating information, it is supposed to accept that, I think I hallucinated this. This is not correct, and correct itself so that future use will be good enough. Right. You have bias and discrimination, you have privacy violations. Privacy violations comes in handy when you are like, you're talking to an LLM, you have just signed in with your email ID. So the LLM is not supposed to go through your browser history and understand what all you have done, right? So that would be a violation of your privacy. So those things have to be taken care if you are designing your own AI or your own GPT. So you make sure that ethical concerns are followed. And of course, lack of transparency and accountability, it will usually blame the data or say that, okay, I can't really do that. Whatever was on the internet, this is what I gave you. You have to verify if it is the truth or not, or it's going to hurt somebody. Right. Excuse me. Yeah, and we move on to unconscious bias. Bias again, that's what I told you. The example of a nurse that would be a female doctor would generally be a male, and other kinds of stereotypes that you already know that you will see in this AI, because of course all the data that has been created for AI is created by humans, and humans have been stereotypical in most of the time, and we want to obviously remove all the bias, and as and when we use it, we can improve it so that our future, our offsprings are educated, and they're all knowledgeable enough to understand the difference between a bias or in any kind of fact that is levied upon them, right? It can perpetuate social inequalities, societal inequalities, because if you are kept on saying that females are only belongs in the kitchen or does all this empathetical or emotional work like nurses and all that, so it creates a divide amongst the group. So that is where it is harmful to have unconscious bias. This is in AI. So it's not just it's not like it's only there in AI. It is of course there in us as well. Humans are also flawed after all. And yeah, so that is where you can see all these things, and you just need to be very clear about it. So the moment you find out, you just address it. Okay, this is incorrect. You should correct yourself. So it will create another guardrail and improve the system. So that is the idea. And you will find this unconscious bias in these AI systems as well. Doesn't matter if it is created by Gemini, Google, Microsoft, or any of the big companies. Yeah, big four. Right. Now, generative AI, that the word generative means it is creating something new. It is generating something new. So if you ask for, let's say, an image generation, let's say that I am trying to create a shampoo product, right? I'm trying to sell a shampoo. Now I want to understand how can I create a logo for my shampoo. So if you see the Dove shampoo has like a dove bird on it, Pantene would have like some kind of liquid flowing or some everybody will have their own logo, just like on this slide itself you can see like SVIMS, the college has its own logo, ATAL has its own logo. So you can generate these logos. You can ask the LLM that can you create a logo, let's say of a shampoo brand, which is talking about hair as thick or strong as the roots of a tree, and you can imagine a tree and something like that, and you can talk to the LLM and it will give you all these items. But again, these that the product that comes out, the generative image that comes out again could be from data that is biased. So you have to be careful whenever you use all these items. There's one example, the case study that Amazon had used its AI agent to segregate or review resumes, and it kept on favoring the men over the women. So that is where they also stopped using it, and they employed only HR teams or individuals, humans, to actually go through that process because of data that has been there in the past. Usually people who have hired, let's say, DevOps persons or developers are generally men as compared to other roles which are usually women. So the system keeps on predicting them. So that is where this is a real situation, a real case study. So it is, again, it is not harmful as you can see it, but over a period of time, it can create a societal divide, which is the problem. Right. So this is one of the mnemonic that I made when I wrote an article on ethics in AI and unconscious bias. So it is published on a Swiss magazine, Swiss Cognitive. It is called I drafted so that you remember all these. It's easier to remember if you have a mnemonic to it, right? Like we have the STAR mnemonic. STAR is situation, task, action, result. So if you're doing anything, you have to explain like what all you have done in your past. Like if you're talking about an interview, how you um, overcame a problem, you have to explain the situation. You have to explain what the task was, what is the action you took, and what was the result of that action. So it is easy to remember as STAR rather than situation, task, action, result. So similarly, this is I drafted, where we talk about integrity, diversity, robustness, accountability, fairness, transparency, explainable, and data privacy. So all of these items are like, it's like a trust framework kind of a thing, where all LLM models, all AI related products should be following this. So this is not an exhaustive list. It is just a small subset. There are more and more principles and tenets that people use, like, that would be specific to their use. I think the framework of Australia would be different to a framework of USA. So like the priorities are different, and the cultures are a bit different, similar to what would be a UAE AI principles would be different from an Indian AI principle. So that's something like that. So, but I drafted is a good mnemonic to understand and remember, and so that whenever you use an AI, you remember all these principles. Excuse me. Right. So moral responsibilities comes in now. It is more about accountability, as in if I created, let's say, a website, and I ask you that you can create all your logos from my website, you can just type in and it will give you an image of a logo. So as a developer, my responsibility is to make sure that whatever images that I have used to train my model are fair, are not like, do not have any bias, do not have any stereotypes in it, so that people can use it in a generic way. I will obviously keep on monitoring the usage of my product, as in see how well people have received it. Have they completely used it, downloaded it from my website, or they have left it by after creating the logo, right? So to do like an analysis, markets analysis of the system, of how exactly how good or how well it is doing. The organization, as in the company which has hired me, should also be focusing on the ethical guidelines to make sure that I drafted all the items, all the principles are followed. We foster accountability, as in, again, whatever decision the AI has taken, it is able to explain it to you how it makes the decision. It is able to tell you that this is the data set that was flawed, or this is the data set that I used to create something like this, or at least give you like some, simple information that you are aware about what exactly is happening behind the scenes. Society's role. So as an end user, your responsibility is also there. When you see any, violation of any of these policies or any of these principles, you should report them. You should report to your local government, or, report to your local uh, uh, organizations or NGOs or whatever, wherever, you think that, or post about it online, saying on Twitter or something, they're saying that I use this tool and it was not very good because it had so much bias in its data, right? So as a society, you obviously look at improving the product. And also, of course, the best kind of marketing is word of mouth, where you tell others that, this is the product I use, you should also use it. Like Canva is doing, for you can type in and it will create the entire pamphlet for you, or emailers for you, for your marketing purposes. Okay. Then there are case studies. Again, this I already talked about Amazon AI recruitment tool. That is what it just, they just stopped using it, rather than, feeding and putting more energy into improving it, because this is very close to people, right? Like a human is supposed to decide if a human is, deserving a job or not. A system should not decide that. A system may only predict, or may only suggest that this person would be like 90% more effective in the role, and this person might be like 60% effective. So, but again, the final decision should always be with a human. And you have recommendation engines that have been going on for YouTube. Like, if you put on one song of any movie, then the next prediction, sorry, the next song that is played usually is from the same movie or the same album or same artist. So that is where recommendation engine keeps on improving as and when you react to it. So when I say react to it, you're not supposed to, like, it's not just looking at your click on like and, if you're adding a comment or something, but how much time it has been active for. If you are using it on your desktop, what is your heat map of your cursor? Are you moving the cursor too much? Are you scrolling on the next videos? If you're scrolling on the videos while the video is playing, that means you're not very interested in the video, but you're okay that it is running. So they identify these behaviors, and these are the behavior that they can sell it to, like, companies or products that, a person is such kind of a person who is not very interested in watching, let's say, 10-minute videos or 15-minute videos, but might watch like 2 minutes or 3 minutes videos. So if a company is talking about AI or creating educational content, it will be suggested that, create small videos so that you get more and more interaction from the users. Okay. Right. Ethical AI requires continuous monitoring and diverse data. So data is, of course, the god in an AI situation. When if the data itself is flawed, the product will spew or give you responses or give you images or whatever that will be flawed. So you have to make sure that before you start using the data, you are making sure there are no biases. You're polishing the data. You're taking out all, cleaning the data, basically saying that remove all null values and everything. So it is structured data that you should use here. Right, excuse me. Okay, now we come to the strategies for ethical or responsible AI. So kind of a same thing. You have to use the checklist. So you can create your own. I drafted is one of that I created. You can create your own set of principles and understand that these are the ones that are to be followed in your own AI development. During development, you have to conduct your audits and see, ask for beta testers to let them test your application and see how well it is responding to edge cases, negative cases, or out of boundary cases. So just like you would test a particular website or an app, same thing you have to do with an AI product. Additional to the technical requirements of functionals, you also have to be responsible. Think of the responsible AI aspect. Like post deployment, you look at user feedback and see update algorithm, how well you can improve the system. If some data is biased, and clean it or retrain the model. So retraining the model is something that is quite expensive. I will again come back to the stages of AI as well and machine learning to give you a much more overview. Global perspectives on AI ethics or AI is like, European Union is the best known for regulating any kind of technology. So they have created their own Artificial Intelligence Act, which will penalize and ban any AI product that is, causing harm to the society. And it has been doing that, and levying high penalties on Apple, Google, and everything because they have, like, say, disobeyed the laws of data privacy. What YouTube did initially, very long back when it was not bought by Google, actually they took data from kids as well, like people who are below 18, to understand their behavior and use that behavior to create their own recommendation engine so that they can get more and more users. But if they did that in Europe, that is where it was a crime, and they had to pay like a huge hefty chunk of some fine, as well as remove that product completely from Europe. Right. And if you look at Switzerland, also it has been on top of AI. ETH Zurich is a very big and reputed institution, which is more about technical advancement, and it has been leading the cause there, right? It promotes global standards for responsible AI. The call to action would be you adopt these international frameworks, you see how they are performing, or what all the are the items allowed or disallowed in an AI system. So you get more clarity. You read more about EU AI Act, you will understand more about AI system because it has clearly defined what all is allowed, what all is not acceptable. Right. This would be the conclusion here. Then we talk about more about ethical principles and tenets. I drafted would be again, I will go back to that slide where I show you the items: integrity, diversity, robustness, accountability, fairness, transparency, explainable, and adaptability. I think all the words are self-explanatory, but again, you can go through it. The PPTs will be shared with you all. Right. These are the references. This is one of the article that I wrote, and I'll also talk about MasterCard and Visa's AI agent that will show up for you. Right. That's it. But I would just like to go back, stop sharing, and talk to you about the layers of AI. Like, the data that is there, the first layer, and then you talk about connectivity, you talk about compute, and then you talk about the robustness. So connectivity is again, if the product is in a data center in US, how well the connectivity is in Australia. So that also matters how, data packets and everything, internet connectivity is flowing. That improves the user experience. So that is also a part of that AI ecosystem. Right. That's where I would stop for the first session. And
Yes.
I would, I'll take it up if there are any questions.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir, for this enlightening session. We would now like to open the floor for the brief question and answer interaction. And dear participants, if you have any queries or any questions for our speaker, may I request you to kindly share them in the chat box along with your name and the name of the institute. This will help us address your questions in an organized manner. We look forward to a few thought-provoking questions from the audience. Sir, we have two questions in the chat box. The first question was asked regarding what does it mean by AI hallucinations? And if this is happening, then how to correct it?
Right. Correct. It's a good question. Of course, when we talk about AI hallucinations, we are redirecting the question to the developers of that product. So let's say if you are talking to Google's Gemini and you ask questions about the Indian history, or let's say talk about the mishap in 9/11, and you ask questions around that, and it will give you some answers which are factually incorrect, or it's biased. It's saying that these countries were also involved, and that is how it happened. So those are hallucinations in the sense it has generated information that is not true. That is not true in the sense which is not stated in any of the newspaper websites or newspaper articles or journals. It has just basically eclectically generated on its own. And you will not have the power to correct it, but you will obviously have the advantage of saying to the agent right then and there, LLM model, that this information is correct. Can you please make sure that you use correct information and provide the link to it? So you just have like a conversation with the bot, just like you would talk to a person saying that check your facts, you look at this link. So it will incorporate it in the next training cycle. Right.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. There was one more question, sir. It was asked by an attendee, Jaya Jagwani from JSPM University. She is asking which algorithm is most effective in detecting and mitigating bias in generative AI.
Right. So there is no set answer to that. Like there's no one stop solution to this. You have to keep on understanding what all algorithms you can use. If you are reading and going through information that is created or generated by an AI, you need another AI. So basically saying that if I want to see if I have like an essay of 400 words, and I want to understand if this was created by an AI or a human, then again, you need an AI bot which will go through the content, understand, predict the pattern, and see that, okay, there are biases mentioned here. That is where your research, work comes in. That is where you as an individual are very, very important, where you decide which algorithm is to be used and how you identify the bias and how you try to solve it. So this is not something that an AI can just give it to you. It will not give it to you because its only job is to keep you engaged, and it will do anything to keep you engaged. Simple. Right. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Any other question for the audience?
I see
There's one more question, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dr. Sarita Sanson from IICMR. She has asked the question, are there any risks associated with autonomous agents that you think are being overlooked?
Of course. There's so many. So since an autonomous agent is another LLM, large language model, that would be obviously created by a big, rich company like, Google, Microsoft, or X and everything. So you cannot completely just take that agent and apply it everywhere. So if you look at like a small company in India, let's say that I'm creating a small company selling shampoo products, and I use one agent that has been created by Google and I try to implement it here, you will see that results are very, related to American culture, right? And it will not be localized for you. So there are risks involved, of course, not just with the data or the money involved, but also the bias, because it is mostly trained on data from the American surveys as compared to Indian, user behavior. It will be very different. So the best option is to either create your own agent or keep on improving your own agent. But the risks are too many just to blindly use whatever Google or Microsoft gives us. Yeah. I hope that answers.
Yes, there was one more question to add, sir. The question is by Professor Pranav Gadande from Maharashtra itself. He's asking about, is AI becoming necessary evil?
So very philosophical question. I would not say evil at all, because it is after all created by humans. So if you look at a virus, a computer virus, would you term it as evil just because a human created it and used for evil purposes? By that definition, yes, AI is evil. But it again depends on how you use it. If you use AI for good, it will not be considered evil at all. And now, if you look at reputation and AI ethics and biases, a lot of companies are putting a lot of guardrails. So I would suggest you use Gemini to check out this gender bias that I talked about. Just ask Gemini, can you create a persona of a nurse? It will not define the gender in the first scope. But if you ask ChatGPT, Grok, DeepSeek, they will always assume that it has to be a woman. So yeah, it is necessary. Yeah, of course, you cannot live without AI nowadays. Everywhere it's there. Yeah, next question.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yeah. There is a question, what would be threat of AI agents in healthcare?
Right. Again, it is always risky to use any kind of AI agent, especially in healthcare, because healthcare will have your health history, all your data, what all prescriptions you ever had for any person, and it can side with a company that says that this person is it looks a bit depressed, let's prescribe them more and more antidepressants. So it is unethical. It will be unethical if the agents are just let free and go around and giving responses and reading our history. So that data privacy portion of ethics will be activated here.
And sir, what would be the reliability of the information which we get from AI?
So that again we have to read all the agreements, terms and agreements that you click. I agree or I consent to use this AI. So you have all that information that whatever the LLM has used, it will keep it with itself. It will use it for its training. It will not use it for its training. That is up to it. So you cannot really trust it. Let's say that if I accidentally type my Aadhaar card number in any of these chatbots, I cannot assume that it will not remember it. It might remember it, might keep it, might use it for other purposes, might spew out some public or personal information about me to somebody else who is using the same product. So liabilities you'll have to read through, and you have to be careful whenever you're using these AI bots.
Ask two questions, sir, and we'll bring it to a closer for session one. The first question asked was, how can we rely on decisions of agentic AI?
Right. Again, so you cannot. That's the simple answer is you cannot. When I say agent, AI, agentic AI is a subset of a large language model. So if you're saying you can believe everything the large language model is telling you, then you have to use and trust the agentic AI as well, because it is like a sub part of it or a subsystem of it. So you should not, but it should be looked at as in it should look at or tell you suggestive answers rather than saying that you should do this.
Right, right. Sir, one last question, and the audience will stop here with the question because we would like to enter into session 2. The question is, are AI agents working for law firms?
I would not be able to answer that question, but I suspect they would be using it. A lot of hiring companies, as in HR companies, Workday and everything else, are using agents, which is parsing through your resumes and extracting information that is related to the job description and everything. So those agents are already in place. In law firms, again, it depends what kind of law firms. Is it criminal law? It is financial law or government related laws. So whoever has enough investments and money can hire an AI agent will use it. Definitely will use it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
We saw many questions coming up, sir. We truly appreciate the engaging questions from our participants and the insightful responses which were given by the speaker. So definitely this exchange has added great value to the session. And let us now formally proceed to close with vote of thanks for session 1. So we thank you, the entire organizing team. Thank you, Mr. Shiv Gupta, for a truly enlightening session. Insights on agentic AI and maybe the ethics of working with generative AI has deepened the technical understanding. On behalf of the organizing team and all participants, we sincerely appreciate the clarity and depth you brought to this important subject.
Thank you.
With this, we close session 1. And the good news is we are not yet done. We are fortunate to have you with us for the next session as well, where you will take us into the exciting world of GitHub Copilot and generative AI with prompt engineering for effective AI responses. So while we thank you wholeheartedly for the reflections you have shared in the first session, we now look forward with equal enthusiasm in continuing this learning journey with you in the next session. We are delighted that the learning session continues as you will now lead us to the next session on GitHub Copilot and generative AI with prompt engineering. We look forward to this. Sir, we eagerly look forward to your thoughts and please take the session ahead.
Yep, thank you. All right. So here we go again. Another PPT I'll be sharing. I hope you can all see it. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So this is more of a hands-on approach, and I would strongly recommend everyone, whoever is already on a computer, even if you are on a phone, that is still fine, iPhone or Android, whatever, you should be able to install any of these apps, like GitHub Copilot or Grok or Gemini, whatever phone you're using, or just use Siri as well, for Apple Intelligence and everything. So I would suggest that you go on and just basically go free. So my job here in itself in this session is to make sure that you come out with a product. You do something that you create a product with me. So what I can do, it's like an hands-on thing. I can go through with you and show you how exactly you do the prompt engineering. First, we'll go through the PPT, then I'll share the screen and I'll show you how I'm using my Copilot and what's the added advantage of me in prompt engineering. My prompt engineering is quite different to what prompt engineering you will learn from Udemy, Udacity, or any other free courses or paid courses. Okay, so we will go in, figure out the first. Yeah, so we talk about GitHub Copilot. It is I think the first one because it's just packaged in the Windows system. So you don't really go about signing up for any other AI LLM. Just like if you have Gemini, you have to sign in with Google. If you have Grok, you have to sign in with X. If you have DeepSeek, again, you have to sign in with some other account because it will not let you use it for free or not let you use it for a lot of inferences instances on its own. Copilot is there everywhere in all the Windows application at least, and it will also be available in Mac as well. Right, but we are also focusing about GitHub Copilot. So I'll just give you a simple difference between GitHub Copilot and Microsoft Copilot. So Microsoft Copilot, when I say Microsoft Copilot, is the Office ecosystem. When the Office ecosystem means your Outlook, your Teams, your Word, your PPT, your OneNote, your Excel files, everything is under Microsoft. That Office 365, that is the entire package. And that Copilot is basically going to be wrapped around all of these items. But when you talk about GitHub Copilot, it becomes a very technical section of LLM. So GitHub and Cursor and Lovable, there are like three very popular LLM bots, LLM chatbots, which are mostly programmed to help you code better. Not just code better, basically create applications, create websites, and it will explain it to you even if you are not very tech savvy or you're not very sure that if you don't know any language. Let's say if I only know Python language and I have to create a Java application as an Android application, GitHub Copilot can help me. I can write some code in Python, it will easily convert into Java and package the entire thing. So I don't have to go about doing it everything manually. So this is where this GitHub Copilot is considered as a coding assistant. So that's what it says. It's an AI powered coding assistant. It is only supposed to assist you. It is not going to take over your job, right? So this is, I want to clarify. If it's an agent that is created that is supposed to do, let's say, code review and create code and write test cases and everything, that is still an agent, and it is only job is to assist you. It will not, like, let's say, create applications and deploy it also on the production server. So it's not supposed to do that. That is where it is very, unsafe to give these LLMs or coding assistants your production credentials, because sometimes it happens that it has deleted all the previous information, all the previous database and everything because it hallucinated. So it has happened. So you just need to be very careful if you're talking about creating tech products until the environment of UAT. When you say dev, QA, UAT, dev is development data environment, QA is quality assurance, as in testing, and UAT is user acceptance testing, as in when the user or the end user are supposed to just do like a dry run on your application, and then finally it goes to production. So that is where I would put a stop. Until UAT, you should use your GitHub Copilots, and the moment you have entire thing packaged, everything in the production server, you should do it manually. When you, let's say that you have credentials to your GoDaddy DNS hosting website, right? So you should not share it with GitHub Copilot, because you never know if it will add more websites to it, add more servers to it, then again your bill will go up and you don't even understand what is happening. So you never know. Basically, just to be on the safe side, just restrict it till the lower environments and not go to prod, right? And there are IDEs for this, VS Code and JetBrains. Again, these are very technical and code specific, so people who are from the engineering background will understand better. But I will show you for any user. It's not specific to just tech people, right? Okay, and then we come to prompt engineering. So what exactly is prompt engineering? Prompt is like a way of talking to someone or prompting someone as in notifying someone that, I want this to be done. I'm looking for this information. Let's say that if I go to a railway station and I want to find out if my train is late, so I go directly to that inquiry setup point and I ask them, like, what about this train that is supposed to go from, let's say, Delhi to Bombay? What time does it come? So that is kind of a prompt. If I say only Delhi and Bombay, it will basically supposed to ask me, right? Like, which train are you talking about? Is it Sabarmati or Rajdhani, or what kind of train it is? Is it fast passenger and everything, right? If I take all that information initially itself and give it to the receptionist, it will be able to answer me with much more precise information and useful information, and saves a lot of time. So that is, in a nutshell, that is what prompt engineering is. If I'm only asking very generic questions, I'm not going to get very useful information. I will get only generic output, like, what's the weather like today? So it will basically say that, okay, it's going to rain in like for 3 more days constantly. So again, that is not going to help me. What do you mean by rain for 3 more days? Is it going to rain heavily? Is it going to rain softly? Can I go out? Can I use the trains? Can I not go out? Should I stay at home? Or is it going to be red alert, orange alert? So you specify your question. The more focused oriented your question is, the more specific answer you will get. So that is your prompt engineering. And I believe everybody here, whoever has been in India, would know, trains, they do get late, and we do try to find out. Now everything is on the phone that, you call up 139 and get the details in. But again, the moment you ask, how you ask matters. The more refined your prompt, your question will be, the more time saving and more sufficient and more smart you will be, right? Right. Poor prompts, again, like if you do not give them specific inputs of what exactly you want from it, it will not be very useful to your productivity and efficiency. Understanding prompt engineering, again, like, it should be a specific and clear guide of what exactly you want an AI to do. So we are only talking about our end goal from this session should be, I should be able to create a website, and I should be able to browse into items of, let's say, shampoo and conditioner. And I should also see the stock, as in how much are there in stock. If I am clicking on buy, the stock should also decrease. Real time movement should be there. So I should be able to manage 2 windows. Basically, one is my user window and one is my administrative window, where I'm managing the repository. As in, these are many items are in the stock. This is what is linked from the repository onto the UI. And once I'm buying it, I am updating the information in my backend as well. So your job is to make sure you create like an e-commerce website, like an Amazon website, like a Flipkart, like whatever, Instamart, something kind of like that. You create it using prompts. That is your task for this PPT, for this session. Right. Relevance to GitHub Copilot is uses context and natural language prompts. So since these are usually American products, they would understand English well. But if you do need, help in language translation, there are again some dictionaries that you can use, or some other services that you can use, which when convert your, let's say, Marathi to English or Hindi to English. You can talk to the chatbot in your Hindi language. मेरे लिए ये बना के दिखाओ, something like that, and then it will convert that into English and then finally give you an answer. It can understand language. It has become very smart. So it is like a PhD person who knows almost everything. That is what an LLM is. And when you talk about GitHub, what exactly is GitHub? GitHub is like a website which hosts all the old source code repositories. In the sense, if I have created, let's say, Facebook, so there are files like Facebook has that Facebook logo file, the user login page file, the registration file, registration page, then database connectivity, then cache, and then payment, Facebook Marketplace. So different files will have different files, different folder structure. All of that is stored in GitHub. So it is like a hub which has all Git. Git is another type of code versioning tool. In the sense, like, say that if I create one version of my code today and just tomorrow I come in and add one more file, I should not create another repository and I should not create another website. I should just, update the existing one. So it's a efficient use of space and time. So that is what the GitHub, initially it is bought by Microsoft. Initially it was just GitHub, and it was all the code repositories, everything was there for everyone to share applications or share development work, and you can commit and you can take somebody else's work and improve it, or you can ask for improvement from your work and people can just join in. So it's like a huge big developer community which will be around to help each other. Right. Effective prompts reduce your manual edit. So the moment you say that I want a web page with these many details in it, this user information, user registration page, and it should be like this. There should be a color code, and the more specific you are, the less edits you will have to make. So it's like it's an efficient way of doing something, right? That is where this vibe coding comes in. So let's say that some businessman comes in and says that, okay, I have this shampoo. I have 100 shampoos and I want to, let's say, not 100, let's say 1,000,000 shampoos. I want to sell it all over the country, all over India. So can you do something for me? Can you show me how it will be done? So vibe coding would be a way of coding where you are coding the feeling, as in the user comes in with their personality, with their persona, and they say that, can you create something that, like represents me, represents my personality? So imagine somebody like Vijay Mallya, not the corrupt way, as in Vijay Mallya, there's the personality, like long hair and like a very rich looking person, and comes in and tells you that, let me create a shampoo website for me. I want to sell shampoo now. I've sold enough Kingfisher beers. I want to sell shampoo. So you look at him, you look at that personality, and as a developer or as just anybody who's going to perform that particular task, you ask this LLM, say that I want to create a persona of a personality who has been a very successful businessman over 50, 20 years and has a good lineage, as in his father was also a good businessman and all that. And I want to showcase that shampoo is also one of the products that comes from legacy and, has a root in India itself. So it is very close to the heart of the Indian, so that, you relate to the users, and that is how you can sell it. So you basically go all about feelings here, vibes, the feelings of what exactly that business owner is looking for. So you don't just create a website as in a simple black and white website. You put in all the things in that website. You put in the color coding, as in if you look at Kingfisher Airlines, right, it was red and white kind of color coding. Air India also white, red and white. Indigo has blue and white. So similar to that, you use and you specify these color themes. The moment you specify color theme, that starts to shape, take shape of your business owner's personality and what exactly he or they want to do with the shampoo, right? And the major advantage is it quickly comes up with a small prototype. So what I'm asking you to create as an e-commerce website is just like a prototype. It will be a small product. Again, if you look at Amazon, there are so many features, right? There are like support system, there is your orders, your exchanges, your returns, and then Amazon.com, then Amazon.in, you have different locations. There's so many features in the app. It's very rich, very big. But I'm only asking you to create like a subset of that application that is called as a prototype or an MVP, which is the most viable product. If I take an MVP and ask users to buy a shampoo, they should be able to do that. It should not be just only for the look and feel, right? So we are not going to go to the MVP phase because we do not have funding and nobody is giving us the shampoo to sell. But only for the task, you should be able to create an e-commerce small website. Shampoo should be able to be visible on the UI. You can be very creative in that. So how you display that shampoo on your UI? If you look at Amazon, it has like series of images and a video explaining what the product is. So instead of that, you can use your own creativity, your individual creativity. You can you can create one GIF inside that, image area where it will show that the shampoo is being used or shampoo is being bought. So you can identify and clearly see what exactly or what is the color of the shampoo. And you can specify some smells around it. The blue color is like aqua kind of a smell, and then lemon flavor, smells and all that. So be very creative in that. How you showcase that shampoo. One shampoo, just imagine that the shampoo is blue in color and it is called aqua Phoenix or something, right? So just think about other names. Again, these names also you can ask this AI. It will suggest some names, but you should not use the names it suggests because that becomes very repetitive. Because everybody who will ask you will kind of give you similar responses. If 100 people is asking, give me names of a shampoo brand, it will be like a very small exhaustive list of 10 names. And then most people will have the same thing. So you don't use the name, think of it from your own self, as in that whenever we try to think of, naming our child or naming our pet and everything. So we put some thought in it. Use that and then use that name to ask the LLM to make sense of it. So if I'm saying that, it is an Aqua Phoenix shampoo, so it should be like, there should be a logo of a phoenix and there should be like aqua, bluish liquid that should be there in the shampoo. So those things which will make you unique, make your product unique to your taste, right? Used for rapid prototyping, right? Application, GitHub is user-friendly code, as in, again, if you do not know English, if you do not understand Python, C#, Java, and all that, you can simply talk to it in Hindi and Marathi and Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, or any language that you can use, or even European languages are there, like German, French, and you can talk to it. So if you're talking French, you should probably use Mistral, because supposedly the best in Europe as compared to Grok and everything else, which are mostly American. Right. Example would be Prompt Copilot to generate code for an e-commerce website. That's what I've been talking to you. This is an added advanced feature that you can add, accessibility features. So let's say that if I am as user, I am visually impaired, and then I can't really see. So I use screen readers where that Braille format comes in whenever I open a particular website. So if I create a website which is not able to, give me that Braille format, I will not be able to buy that shampoo, right? So now again, it comes about inclusivity. So people who are like, okay, they can see, but they can't really hear things. So you should not have video with only audio in it, right? Like simply when you look at an ad, it has a video and an ad audio narrative of what exactly they're trying to sell. But if a person is audibly impaired, you cannot expect them to understand what the person is saying or what the narration is being on. So it should have like, descriptions or captions should be turned on by default. Just like assume the person is, has, is a person with disability, PWD. So your user base or your audience grows. You are not only looking at just normal persons, but also persons with disability, right? To make it more exclusive and make it more accessible. So make sure that you look at these features as well. Again, you do not have to be an expert in accessibility features to add accessibility features. You can always ask this LLM to tell you what all accessibility features it should be using. Excuse me, sorry. Right, persona-based prompt engineering. This is where my uniqueness is in this PPT now. So when I say that, can you create a website for a shampoo product? I'm being very generic. As in, who is it for? Is it for Indians? Is it for Americans? Is it for a particular geography? One moment. Yeah. Right. So we should be using personas or personalities, or basically hats, saying that if LLM has, is omnipotent, it knows everything. Give it a hat, give it like a thinking hat of a developer, of a tester, of a lawyer, of a doctor, and understand how they would look at the product, how they would go about creating the product or a website, whatever. As a lawyer, my point of view would only be looking at the text that is. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, sorry. So I was saying, as a lawyer, my job would be, looking at the text and identify if there are any loopholes that I can sue the company, saying that, you are saying that your shampoo is manufactured in America, but actually it's manufactured in India only. And, so the point of view would change. And when you create a product, you don't know who the end person is. That end person could be anyone, doctor, lawyer, a senator, politician, anybody, could be from any religion as well. So you have to be sensitive to these things. Right. There are The responses would be obviously tailored. So what you can do is you can ask the LLM to create a personality. So just like I talked about in the previous session, that if you're saying a nurse would be a woman, don't first ask for the persona for the nurse. If it is saying that it has to be a woman, then tell it, can you please make it gender neutral? So it will create another persona and say that, okay, fine, we'll make it gender neutral and not, lean on one geography or one kind of one division in the society. And then you use that persona to create your responses. So you say that, okay, use the persona of a nurse, and then tell me what are the features this persona would be looking at in a shampoo. Sorry. Yeah. Excuse me. Right. So advantage of this is when you define the roles to the prompt, it will focus on only that particular persona and give you a response that you can use and make sure that whatever you're selling is basically going revolving around this personality rather than it is too generic, right? Like if you talk about shampoo, that you will talk about people who have like long hair, usually women, right? That's what basically it's an assumption that you mostly women will have long hair, so the shampoo will be bought mostly by women, right? So but if you create a persona and say that, okay, shampoo is also not just for women, only for men as well can use it, even if they have small or shorter hair, they can still use the shampoo because sanitation is required. You make sure you do not have dandruff, make sure you are healthy enough and your hair is clean and there is no residue or there's no lice and all that, right? So it's like a medical product, basically trying to sell that it will going to cure everything. So it's not going to be specific to just one section of the audience. Okay. It enhances precision. The moment you have a prompt persona, your prompt engineering will be miles, away from what any prompt engineering course will teach, and it will give you much more specific responses and useful responses rather than just a generic option, right? Advantage here is you can use your own personality. So let's say that just as I said that I'm a huge fan of football. Now you try to create an ad campaign or present the shampoo in a way that would appeal to football lovers. As in, you show them football, footballers who have long hair, cricket players or sportsman personalities who have long, shiny hair, and use those images or generate something like that. Like a person playing football has very nice hair, and then you say that this person has been using this shampoo, that is why you should also use it, right? So you use your own personality and create the prompt. That will be much more closer to your uh, self. So you don't have to create a persona, use your own persona for creating different roles and hats in the sense. You can specify yourself. If you are a developer, if you put yourself in the shoes of a developer, how would you think? If you put yourself in the shoes of a doctor, how would you think, right? Like what all critique you will show on this website, right? How it works with Copilot, you craft prompts with persona so that you can ask the Copilot to create a persona. Or an example is this, like as a developer with 12 years of accessibility experience. So I just post for a 400% Zoom compatible UI. So what happens is usually when we create websites, we do not care about accessibility. But if you do, then it's an added advantage, even though it's not going to hugely impact your numbers. But still, like, it says that, yeah, there is respect enough that you have considered people with disabilities as well. If you do a 4% zoom of any website, you can see that, the text and everything starts to overlap. So that is where you need to make sure that the layout is such a way that in 400% zoom, everything should be vertically stacked rather than horizontally overlapping each other. So these are the features of a website which you would not think otherwise. And the advantage with the LLM is that it will obviously know, it already knows about these accessibility features. You just have to activate it. And you have to make sure that you use personas to get these things out. The more you think, the more broad your horizon of imagination will be, the better you'll do in life. Simple as that. Yeah. That's a simple case study. So this is what name that I came up with as a Harry Potter. Harry is a very Harry Potter, lead in J.K. Rowling's books and movies. So you look at this shampoo. Now, the moment you say Harry Potter, you're already imagining somebody like the character Hagrid, right, with long hair, and then Professor McGonagall, who also has long hair. So even Severus Snape has long hair. So everybody long hair can, relate to a shampoo. So that's the idea here. So this is what you can do in your own time. Create something. It should be fun. This task should be fun. It should not be like like an exam that you are forced to do. You should think about it, whatever you want. If you don't want shampoo, you want to sell a soap maybe, or a table, or a furniture, or a sofa, anything would be whatever you want. You can create like a e-commerce small website and showcase with your own creativity in it. Right. So persona-driven prompts in action. These are 6 of examples. If you see, as a developer skilled in accessibility, please create a 4% zoom. That is how the output comes in. It's with scalable fonts, and the colors of the visuals also are as per the ARIA labels. That is again an accessibility framework. Then you have a QA expert, you have a regulatory expert, as in a lawyer person, right? It complies with GDPR and accessibility laws. So it will suggest for cookie consent banners and data privacy compliance. So it will give you option that you make sure that you accept it, you consent with whatever information it is taking from you is acceptable or not, right? Doctor persona UI features should be with motor impairment. So this is what I was saying, voice activated controls as in audio description, or if I do not have hands, how can I get to the next page? How can I add one item to the cart? So I should be able to speak to the website itself. So these things should also be there, right? So these are different personas. These are just simple 4 examples, but from your minds, I think you can come up with more. Legal and ethical configuration, as always. Whatever you are using in generative AI, whatever information you're giving it in, giving to it should be, I think, be careful in the sense that you should not share all payment related, card related information, or client ID, client secrets, and passwords and usernames and all that. And of course, going back to ethical AI, you should follow all the AI principles. Even if you are creating a website, you should make sure that there is no option of creating hurtful or harmful responses. Benefits and challenges. So faster prototyping, the coding will become faster if you talk to an assistant and get things done rather than you typing code for each and every file. So that is where most people who do not know coding would be preferring the assistant to do the coding for them. Improve collaboration, clearer in prompts, aligns teams and clients. The more clear your prompts is, somebody else is going to take over from you, can understand, okay, this is what we asked for and this is what the LLM has created, and you can understand. Tailored features for diverse user needs. So again, using all the accessibility features here. Challenges would be inaccurate data generation, as in it creates an invalid IDs in test, right? So if you are using some test data or mock data, you cannot expect it to be accurate and clean. So this is where you need to use your own, or collect your own information, collect your own data, and gather your own data and use that for your testing purpose, right? Requires human review. So of course, without human in the loop, this thing should not be done. You cannot just say that to an agent, create a website and just go bye and see the product in an hour or something, right? You should do it, follow the entire process, be with the assistant, whatever it's doing, monitor the changes, accept the changes, reject the changes if need be, add more changes, remove some changes, whatever you want to do. It should be your product, your project. Right. That's it. So conclusion is persona-based prompt. This is the highlight of this session. That using accessibility features. Vibe coding is something again that you should check out. And you should always experiment. So Copilot, if it is Gemini, if it is Lovable, if it is Cursor, if it is Grok, anything that is there, you should experiment. See, compare the responses. Review AI outputs, like look at ethical compliance has been met or guardrails are there or not, right? These are some references. These all of are my own publications. One is on vibe coding of how exactly you're supposed to do it. Another is on vibe coding that is published by Cognizant itself. So one of the blog articles that is where I talk about life sciences and healthcare, how vibe coding can be used, using again personas and everything. And this is more about the legal landscape of the music industry, how and what all is copyrighted and what all you can use, what all you can use to generate music. Because see, if you look at any kind of music, it is usually permutations and combinations of all the tunes, right? All the Saregama or Misa Dore and all that, right? So it can be computer generated, like anything that can be done with a permutation combination. Instead of playing it out, you can ask the computer to come up with its own set of permutations and combinations of those tones, right? Right. So that is where the legal comes in. That some information is copyrighted. You cannot just write a song in the style of Taylor Swift or expect a Kishore Kumar voice in any other new song that you would ask it to sing. So these things you'll have to go through before you generate music. So it's a quite big landscape and legal aspects involved with it. Right, that's the end of my PPT. Let me stop sharing. Let me just show you one more thing from the PPT itself. Let's go to this one. Vibe coding. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So I'll just expand it. So you can go through this, Medium article that I wrote. I have given the examples also: GitHub Copilot, Grok, Cursor, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Llama, DeepSeek. There are so many. Every day there's something new coming in. Mistral is also there that I currently use. So this is my browser chatbot from AI for AI work. And yeah, so this is where I define the developer prompt. I'll show you a screenshot. Yeah. So look at this screenshot. I hope you can all read it. Make it bigger. Yeah. So this is my own prompt that I created. So I'm saying that now you as an LLM, you are a marketing analyst and you have 20 years of experience. You have worked with big brands, Lakme, Pantene, Dove, and L'Oreal and all that. And you have the skills to translate technical specification to marketable motto, like talk about shampoo or a AI powered website. Like it should be able to create mottos and slogans and campaigns that I can sell it. There are polyglots. Polyglots are people who speak multiple languages and so know the nuances of scaling up sales. As in, if I'm selling to somebody in Brazil as compared to somebody in France, the sales executive should be or marketing team should be capable enough to do good in both the countries. They use data and surveys to understand the market. First, that is what they do. That is the personality, right? And they come up with ad campaigns, quizzes, surveys, and competitions to understand and improve sales. Then I ask it to please create a guide or a manual set of instructions to only add accessibility features which are existing for a shampoo. And then this is basically a response. So it tells me this is what you have to implement from the 20 years of experience as a marketing analyst and everything. It says keyboard navigation should be there. So if the person is not able or does not know how to use a mouse, should be able to navigate your website through keyboard and then using tab and arrows and space and enter and everything. Screen reader support, if braille format should be there. Audio narration should be there if people can't really understand what is happening. Captions and transcript, 400% zoom, contrast and color. Not all of the people can see all of the colors. So people can't see, though you have to make sure that you use the proper contrast. Baby mode, as in if it is undeveloped, or if the small baby is using the website, it should also be able to, go through it naturally, right? And yeah, so that's the advantage of the personality. If you do not give it a personality, you do not get like a very specific output. You will get a decent output. And the LLMs are getting smarter day by day, like Grok and everything, that they understand itself, understand your intent clearly as compared to what Copilot would be. But right, yeah, so I was also talking about Microsoft Copilot and GitHub Copilot. So you can see all of that information and how you can use it. Some browsers like Firefox, that what I use is this is Firefox. And I have a section of what all I can use for chatbots. So I can say I want to change it. Sorry, I have some options also about AI chatbots. So you can select other chatbots as well. You have Claude, you have ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Live Chat, right? So you can use whatever you want, whatever you are comfortable with. Choose one, choose two, understand the differences, see what all it is providing. Always use a prompt, persona with a prompt. So make sure that you get more clarity. Like so, see these movements here itself, like how you present a particular product or a feature. Be more creative when you create this particular website. So yeah, that's it. I would stop sharing and ask if there are any questions.
Yes, there are few questions in the chat box.
Yeah.
The first question is by Dr. Kalpana. She's asking that, sir, can multiple personas be combined in a single prompt for more complex tasks?
Yes, correct. So since LLM are, have become so smart that they understand context and they remember what you're trying to ask and who you're trying to ask via. So you can do it. You can say that, okay, club all these three personas together and then create a website or create a single page. You can do that. You can do whatever you want.
Thank you, sir. One more question was, how can GitHub Copilot and prompt engineering be effectively integrated into teaching and research workflows?
Right. I can read the question, right? So without compromising originality and critical thinking skills, right? So this is where your human creativity or your individual creativity comes into the picture. How well your prompts are designed. Your prompts are having all the information that an LLM should have, at least to perform the task, easily and much more efficiently. Then of course it is an advantage. So how well you write the prompt is the answer, as in how well you write it. That is how much improvement you see in the responses of these LLMs. And of course, for research work, this is very, very good. Let's say that if you want to understand use of AI in military and defense systems and lethal autonomous weapon systems, that is something currently that I am working on. You ask the LLM, like, where are these AIs have been used in wars, and what are the accountability? Was there any human in the loop and everything? So you do more research. There are papers, white papers people have written about how AI is being used. Then there are journalists who have written the entire report of exactly how they are used and who all are impacted by this decision of these systems. So you can, of course, divide it. You should, like, it's not necessary for you to do everything at once. You can, divide your ask. You can ask the LLM itself, can you give me a suggestion of how I should go about this research, where all I should look for information, what all I should do to authenticate and verify the veracity of the information that I'm reading. So everything has to be, done as part of your research. Your due diligence has to be done. So you can rely a bit on these LLMs to give you a plan, but of course, as a researcher, as an individual, you should have your own ways of finding the truth.
Thank you, sir. And to be more precise, sir, regarding research workflow, would you elaborate more on like research, academic research? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So if you look at academic research again, so if I'm looking for, let's say, information on blockchain products or blockchain technology, I say that can you just give me the list of white papers that have been written on blockchain recently, all research papers that have been written, and who all have used these white papers, these research papers to create products. Like Stripe has used stable coins and blockchain networks. Now they are heavily relying on converting the US dollar into like a token, so that can be used everywhere rather than just in US, so that they can pay their vendors as well easily and quickly, as compared to if it will has to go through a bank, then it just has to verify that the funds are there or not, and then it would reach the vendors quite late. So these kind of research activities will be easier if you use the LLMs and specify what exactly you're looking for, how well you can extract information and intelligence from text that is already there, that is your own skill.
Right.
Yeah. So there is one more question I see from Vaishali about when to use what. This is the golden question, I think, because there are so many. These 5 are just like small, simple examples. There are every year or every month or two, there are some new products coming in. Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT 5 has come in. ChatGPT was only called GPT from OpenAI initially, and it was only predicting, let's say, the next letter. So the evolution has gone up from predicting, let's say, when you type in your name, or you type in a message, it predicts that this is what you're going to write. If I say MA, it will predict that, oh, you're going to write the word make, or made, mail, and anything like that, right? So it started predicting characters, then it started predicting words, what would come after make a video, make a cuisine, something like that. And then it started predicting phrases, where that is where that generative chat GPT came into the picture. If you take one sentence and created an essay for it, so it predicted what kind of words or what kind of content will come in the next statement. That is how it has evolved, and it will keep on evolving, because as and when more compute power, more and more algorithms are being used, more and more training is being done. It's difficult to use what, but I would suggest, if you are using the LLMs for specific purposes in Europe, then you use Mistral. If you're using specific purpose in America, you use Grok. Grok is supposed to be the best right now, closely followed by Gemini. And then you should use ChatGPT, then you should use Claude, then you should use Copilot, then you should use DeepSeek. That is what I would suggest. I would sort this list. All right. One more question I see from Jasmine. How can you exclude specific files from GitHub Copilot? You can do that. You can just ask the Copilot to say that, oh, can you please delete all these files? So since it is all GitHub, as in all versioning is maintained, so don't worry if you ask it delete a file and then you think, oh, I wanted that file. I didn't want to delete it. So you can go back to the previous version and get it. So nothing is lost. Right. Okay, one more suggestion I see from Pushkar. Please suggest me a better platform for Android app and Apple app. So if you are using, you want to use LLM agents for Google, you have Gemini, best for Android applications. And for Apple, I would suggest Grok, but Siri is also there, so you don't really need an additional app for that. Right. I think that's all. I don't see any other question in the chat. You are on mute. You're speaking.
Any questions, audience?
You can speak also if you want. You can just.
I was just thinking about
Yeah.
what is the future per se with respect to generative AI and managerial decision making in context to the business organizations.
Yeah. So what is currently happening is that the race for AGI has begun. This artificial general intelligence. So that is where they are completely coming closer and closer to human intelligence, where it would, it would be able to hold conversations like a human. Let's say that if two PhD scholars are talking about a science experiment, about quantum mechanics and quantum physics and all that. And then basically they switch the conversation to food. As in, this is the food item I had, or hey, this is the country that I visited. Like the conversation traveled from a formal conversation to an informal very quickly. That is what happens in human conversations. So AGI is something that is where the machine itself will try to understand and be very, very general in the conversation and be like laid back in the sense that it understands what you're trying to do. You're trying to have a conversation, you're trying to build a relationship or a rapport with it. So it is becoming smarter and smarter. Related to generative AI, it will be very, very useful, especially for companies who are in the iterative business. When I say iterative business, as in which are creating products, which are creating websites and services. So the more and more they want to improve, the more generative AI will be used. The concern is in the in the journalism department is the concern, because most of the AI are illegally reading articles from the New York Post, the Washington Post, the Guardian, the Hindu, the Times of India, and all that, and creating their own LLMs, right? So that is the concern. That is where generative AI will be a question mark, because that information that it produces, it's based on real articles, but it is not factual. So that is where the concern is. And for creative jobs, it will be a problem, because you cannot, in my honest opinion, you cannot really replace an artist. So if you look at paintings from, Van Gogh and Michelangelo and, biggest brilliant painters that were there, and you ask an AI to create something similar, it will be very close, but it will not have that, human factor. It will never have that human factor, even if your AGI also comes into the picture. That's what I believe. But I don't know how people will react to it.
Yes, yes, yes. Difficult to predict as of now, because the way things are changing,
You never know.
Basically, in the business arena also, it's very difficult to predict what could happen in future.
Yeah.
Generally, it is said decisions the manager is based on their experience, and thus uncertainty can be taken care of.
Yeah.
But if you take example of the generative AI, would it help managers to take decisions? Because I feel so data would be made available to them. Again, validity and authenticity of the data would be questioned.
Right. So it kind of depends on what kind of manager you are. Let's say if you're a bank manager and you are supposed to sanction loans. So the person comes in, says that something like Vijay Mallya, you know that something is fishy. You don't know for sure that you want to give the loan to that person, right? But an AI can go through that, portfolio of, let's say, Vijay Mallya, and still say that you should give the loan to them. So that is where you, as a human, you have to decide: are you sure? You have your own gut feeling. Are you sure you want to give Vijay Mallya a big hefty loan, because you know nothing is going to come back? So that is where an AI system is only supposed to suggest and not take an action.
Right, right. The question is in the chat box, and suppose he's asking some clarification on, I mean to say, Android and Apple app development, sir.
Oh, okay, right. Fair enough. If you're talking about app development, so Gemini itself again is there in Android Studio. So you can use that for chat development, app development in Androids. And again, for Xcode, I think GitHub Copilot is there, as well as Claude and Cursor. So you can use any of them. It's easier to use like something like a code editor with a coding assistant, rather than specific to Android and iOS apps. It's easier that way.
Yes.
Right. Okay, one more question I saw is prompt engineering a threat more to healthcare? Also, that is a controversial statement, I would say, because even though it helps, it can, if you look at how AI has improved in early detection of breast cancer, early detection of proteins folding and all that. So it is relied more in imaging. In diagnostics, not so much, but AI is much more relied on imaging. Like, if you look at all the scans from all over the world, from all the people who have already done scans, like brain scans or, for tumor detection and everything, an AI can predict the pattern much, much efficiently than a human would do. And healthcare, that the concern is that only that, your personal information will be with it. So which company are you okay to trust your data with?
Right. Which one is good for academic pursuits? Like preparing lecture content.
Okay, so Chat GPT-5 is there, which is the latest model, and Copilot is actually using Chat GPT. So it's basically the same thing. So you can use Copilot. It's basically free because it's a Windows ecosystem.
Next question is guidance for creating a correct prompt.
Yeah, so this is like a reverse kind of a cyclic thing. You can create a prompt on your own, and you can ask the LLM to grade your prompt or improve your prompt or refine your prompt. So that way you can understand the flaws when you are creating your own prompt as compared to what AI is generating for you. So you can do that. That practice also helps to like understand the LLM also, and the LLM also gets more information of exactly how the prompt should be. Or you can use one for the other one. Let's say that, you create a prompt from Grok and you use that prompt in Copilot and see the responses, or vice versa. There's so many options. All of them are free. So nothing to worry about there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for the engaging and the insightful session we had now. There were many insights to be understood, much more to explore. And we express our sincere gratitude for your time, effort, and depth of knowledge which you shared with us today.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Dear participants, with this, we conclude day 1 of our ATAL Faculty Development Program on Next Gen Technologies in Action, Generative AI, and Quantum Computing. We are delighted with your enthusiastic participation and look forward for welcoming you tomorrow. Kindly join the day 2 session at 5:55 p.m. sharp so that we can begin on time and make the most of our learning together. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you once again.
Yeah.
And good night, sir. Right.
Thank you. It was a pleasure
Yeah.
speaking to all of you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you.